Chris from Rekkid Talk. So what we're doing this Wednesday is going to be my first Blue Öyster Cult video. So, inspired by Rachel the MusicMAM. I know she likes them. She got their box set recently. So who are Blue Öyster Cult? They're kind of a 70s hard rock umlaut band with 3 songs that are very overplayed on classic rock radio. You've probably heard them. There's Don't Fear the Reaper, there's Burnin' for You, maybe to a lesser extent than those two is the song Godzilla. But those songs were all written and sung by Donald Roser, probably better known as Buck Dharma. And if I mispronounced his name, I'm giving away that I don't know a ton about this band. My understanding is that kind of the other guitarist, Eric Bloom, was actually the primary songwriter and vocalist on most of the songs. By the time I was actively buying records that were not made by Kiss, Blue Öyster Cult was probably already past their commercial peak, which I think was in kind of the mid to late 70s. And so the record I'm going to do by them, if you've seen the thumbnail already, is Coltosaurus Erectus. And remember, there's an umlaut. This is from 1980. And the reason why I picked this particular album, this particular record, is because it has an utterly ridiculous name, including the umlaut, the science fiction cover, the alternative text for the JPEG of the album cover from the Wikipedia page. A dinosaur-like monster with long teeth and 5 eyes stands majestically in front of a mountain landscape. And it doesn't happen to have one of those 3 famous overplayed songs. I didn't have any memory of ever listening to this record. It was produced by Martin Birch, who's of course well known for working with bands like Deep Purple, Black Sabbath, Iron Maiden. Of course, in 1980, I was like 10 or 11 years old. I'm going to guess if I was like somewhere between 5 to 10 years older than I am, if I had been, say, 15, 16, 17, 18, when this album first came out, I'm guessing even before listening to it that I would have been hugely into it. Maybe I'm going to find out that Blue Öyster Cult is more of a compilations band to me than ABBA, which I covered last week. So let's get into it. So stream this on Tidal. And so this is, again, Cultosaurus Erectus, 1980 by Blue Öyster Cult. This is featuring their classic lineup: Eric Bloom, guitar, keyboard, vocals; Buck Dharma, guitar, keyboard, vocals; Alan Lanier, keyboards and guitars; Albert Bouchard on drums and vocals; Joe Bouchard on bass and vocals. Of the 9 songs on this album, Eric Bloom was the lead singer on 6 of them, Buck Dharma on 1, and then the 2 Bouchard brothers, Albert and Joe, each had 1 song that they sang. Various songwriters, as we'll get through. So side 1, we start off with a song called Black Blade. So this was written by Eric Bloom along with a science fiction writer named Michael Moorcock. And apparently this song is about Stormbringer, a black sword wielded by somebody from a book that Michael Moorcock wrote that I've never read. And so it's pretty long. I think it's over 6 minutes long. It's kind of like a less heavy and not quite as good Deep Purple or early Judas Priest song. I would have liked either no keyboards or more keyboards than were present in this. Song got a little proggy towards the end. Keyboard sounded a little bit like the blips of an old computer game. And didn't really sound like something that should be opening an album. Sounded more like an album closer. Second song's called Monsters. So this is a little bit more AOR sounding, less proggy. However, what the hell is up with the cheesy, smooth, jazzy saxophone in it? Didn't like that at all. The lyrics were pretty dumb. They're fighting over and eventually kill a girl. And this song was written by Albert Bouchard and was sung by Bloom. And generally we're going to find that I don't like the songs that Albert Bouchard wrote. I know there was tension with him in the band. I think after the next album, I think they kicked him out. Third song, A Divine Wind, is the best song on the record. So this one was written by Buck Dharma, Eric Bloom is the singer. It's a bit slower and a bit bluesier. It's got some really good guitar solo, and the guitar playing on this record is good all throughout, even on the songs that I don't particularly like. Um, if if I would have picked this as a single to have released from this album, not that I think it would have been as big of a hit as "Don't Fear the Reaper," but I think it was probably the most single worthy song on this record. The last song on side one, which was written and sung by Buck Dharma, is called Deadline. Nice guitar, nice bass and drums. Lyrics weren't particularly catchy. I can see why this isn't one of the three war horses of Blue Öyster Cult on classic rock radio. Side two, the first song's called "The Marshall Plan," so it's I guess it's kind of a play on words with the post World War II economic program and the company that makes amps. It's sounding a little bit too much like it's trying to be a live anthem. It's not really good enough to be holding up a lighter and singing along to. Tonight I'm gonna see some rock and roll. That's part of the lyrics. There's some spoken word by Don Kirshner that comes in about 4 minutes or so into the song. It's kind of lame. Second song was another Albert Bouchard written song. He also sings this. It's called Hungry Boys. This song sucks. It's the worst song on the album. The third song is called Fallen Angel. So this is the Joe Bouchard song that he wrote and sang. He's the bass player. He's definitely a better singer than his brother. This is a decent rocker with some poppy keyboards. Not really trying to be great. It's good. It's a good album track. The fourth song is probably ends up being my second favorite song on the record. Was called Lips in the Hills. So it was co-written by Bloom and Dharma. Bloom singing. It's got a pretty nice guitar riff. It's a pretty straightforward rock song. It's not trying to be too much. But after Divine Wind, I would say it's my second favorite song on the album. Probably would have been a good album opener. I was kind of, in general, thought the ordering of the songs was kind of off on this. And then the final song, another Albert Bouchard song. And of the three songs that he wrote on this, I don't like any of them. Unknown Tongues got cringy lyrics, a weird piano solo. It's a pretty limp meh ending to this record. So kind of my verdict of Coltosaurus Erectus. I'll be honest, if I ever buy a Blue Öyster Cult record, it's not going to be this one. There's definitely some tasty guitar licks, but I'm sure that's true throughout their catalog. Solid rhythm section. Don't really find much of the lyrics to be compelling. They're boring at best and somewhat cringy at worst. Again, I didn't like the ordering of the songs. I think I'm pretty much a normie in that I'm liking the Buck Dharma songs the most, and I know those were the most commercial hit songs that Blue Öyster Cult had. I'm guessing the record label would have liked more of that as well. I'll be honest, I like the ABBA record that I evaluated last week better than this. Sorry, Rachie. And the hint for next week is Chris Burt.